thanks for tuning into Power Athlete Radio. If Chuck Norris were better looking and more lethal, he just barely touched the awesome that is this week's guest. It's impossible to summarize the personality and skill set of one Rudy Reyes, and luckily, we don't have to. The crew chats with this former Recon Marine, martial artist, actor, public speaker, and hater of shirts. Legend Rudy Reyes opens up about his childhood and the catalyst for wanting to join the military. His stories about working, training, and, quote, running and gunning, as he calls it, will have you wondering how he even made it out on the other side. Rudy also talks about the highs and lows of consulting for Generation Kill, a series based on the 1st Reconnaissance Battalion's role during the war in Iraq. While Rudy's resume certainly makes him overqualified for our podcast, he somehow maintains his humility. It's this combination of modesty and unpredictability that endear him to us. This is episode 215.
You know, like we've been talking about how you grew up in kind of the trials and tribulations, but really, dude, what I'm really fascinated by is, you know, who Rudy Reyes is and how we got here, and more importantly, like, what are you going to do to necessarily alter the course of this world? Because I firmly believe you can.
Thank you, my man. Love you all very much, and thank you for having me over here. It's been about a year in the making. I'm honored. I'm blessed. When we think about truth and the bullshit, as they say, everybody asks me all the time about my techniques or tricks or what have you, or program or whatever. I have no program. I have no.
Well, that's not true, Rudy, because before there was one element that you spent a year focusing on, wasn't it?
Would that be silkies, or would it be? Wait, back in the day, you all.
Well, no, I mean we're big on.
Remember, you were talking
we're
about
big on
obedience
history. Like,
Okay.
I can't know the man today unless I know the person that you were and how you got to where you are. And I think that's the fascinating thing. And what kind of kills me on a lot of podcasts is everybody's always like, "So tell me what you're doing now. Tell me about this and this."
Yeah.
And dude, that's to me, that's like, I want to know the backstory. I want to know the history. And
Sure.
and you think about some, we were talking about movies a little bit on the drive over and how empty Hollywood is. But the movies that I've always most appreciated were the ones that always like cap the story or necessarily like show us where it is. And I was just thinking Goodfellas, how they have that whole scene where like how he grows up and, all the, how he kind of gets into it, and then it kind of shows later on. And yeah, man. So I'm just interested in knowing about the history and how we got here. And
Wow. Well, thank you, John. And by the way, dog, I love that fucking hard line through your cheek all the way down. So legit. Reminds me of Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner.
Nice.
Right? What does it say? What do they say? The flame that burns twice as bright lives half as long.
Mm-hmm.
Now, right? As you understand about football or special operations or anything at high capacity.
What my mom told me is the hotter the temperature, the stronger the metal. That was what my mom always said.
In Recon, we say, how do you forge strong steel? You beat it and put it in fire, and beat it and put it in fire.
And repeat.
That's
You fold the metal.
That's right. I don't know, my man. You know what? I remember as a little boy in South Texas, learning to swing the first time, moving my legs back and forth, and little Michael hadn't been born yet. It was just Caesar and I. I was probably about 2. And after that, I remember being on the border of Texas and Mexico with my mother's with my Rudy Reyes Sr.'s grandfather, Güero, look white like me, very white hair, blue eyes, fair skin. He was already missing both of his legs from diabetes. This is in 73 or so. And we had an outhouse, and this is on the border in La Paloma in McAllen. And one of our outer walls is missing completely. And we had a washing machine that you would put your clothing through the wringer to wring out all the excess water and then hang it up on the lines. And I remember helping my grandfather go to to the outhouse. I remember him rolling his cigarette up on the stove, his cigarrito, I think it was bugler tobacco. And I tried to help all the time. I was the oldest brother. It was just Caesar was probably just a little infant, and Michael wasn't even here yet. So I was helping with the laundry, and it freaking caught my hand as I was putting it through those rollers, and it rolled my arm through. My mom starts freaking, she starts freaking out, and everyone is losing their mind, and it's crushing me, all right? Crushing me, pulling me through. And Rudy Reyes Sr. comes over there, freaking out of nowhere, like just, I don't know, Savior style, just smashed that machine into pieces, and the freaking roller went flying and saved me. I remember seeing these freaking welts on me, and I just remember being saved by my father, Rudy Reyes Sr.
Mm-hmm.
And he put a standard. Rudy Reyes Sr. always said to me and my two little brothers, greediness is the ugliest thing a human can be. Greediness is the ugliest thing. Selfishness is a partner of greediness, and they're both they both have no respect as a man. If you're a man, if you're greedy and selfish, there's no respect for you. And Rudy, your fortune is the same as your brother's fortune, and all of you share together. No matter what happens, you share together. My dad taught me that from the very, very beginning. My dad never beat me, never hit me, never raised a hand to me. He even looked at me with his eyes, and that was all it took. And he taught me those precepts and those basics, introduced me to comic books and Bruce Lee. And since he was a Marine, I was always doing it. John, I was doing the freaking ab wheel even back then. And I'm serious. 1974, he had an ab wheel and some dumbbells. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm going to get some freaking photos of y'all. I have a photo somewhere in the old days. I don't have it anymore. I'll talk to my stepmother. DP concrete weights. Curl little dumbbell. 40 pounds, 20 and a little whatever. I'm 6 years old and fucking curl went like this, face red as all get out. And then I climbed up the walls against, with my Spider-Man pajamas.
So everyone who's listening, who obviously can't see what John and I and Tex get to see, is Rudy Reyes jacked and shredded.
Not even 175 pounds.
Well, for those of you guys that don't know who Rudy Reyes is, I'll wait for a moment to while you go, check his Instagram, the real Rudy Reyes, or you check a little Google. But where Rudy really bursted on the scene in terms of, I guess you could say, really just, like media-wise, was through Generation Kill.
Yes.
So there was a HBO show called Generation Kill that was made about you.
About 1st Recon Battalion.
Yep.
And about my team and my platoon.
And so when they went in, they wanted to, create this, for TV, HBO, deal.
Written by the guys that wrote The Wire, so
Yep.
pretty highbrow stuff.
No, dude,
yeah.
we've we're big fans of The Wire, and I know it from that. And the hilarious part was they went to try to audition for Rudy Reyes, and they couldn't do it.
I'm going to blow y'all's mind right here.
Fucking do it.
Watch this, y'all. How about this? I'd never been to LA except to run triathlons. And the first triathlon, and by the way, I ran triathlons while an active duty recon Marine. By the way, can you understand that dedication? Active duty recon Marine, meaning if you're not in the field freaking hurting, carrying 200 pounds of kit, constant observations, no sleep, horrible freaking colon because you're only eating an MRE or so. Just a destruction at the freaking mental, cellular, and emotional level. And then on the weekend, how about we just drive or fly, let's just drive to LA and do a triathlon, or let's just drive up to San Francisco and do Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we're keeping it legit.
Just the
sure.
weekends.
Yeah,
just for fun.
And you all, do you realize what our training schedule is? I look back now and we would run 6 miles 4 miles to the pool, swim 2,000 meters, run 4 miles back Rattlesnake Canyon Road.
Oh, this is at Pendleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then eat our little bag nasty freaking breakfast chow of just like heinous bagel and like 17 egg yolks, and then hang out. We could talk some shit. My team leader was talking to the people up in the head shed, basically not do a damn thing. And then when lunch was called at freaking 1100, we went to the gym and lifted weights. So we freaking did we did stuff that most people could not ever do in their life.
Right.
In the morning, lifted weights in the kind of afternoon, and then afterwards, by the way, we were never in camis. We're always in black freaking sweats or black silkies or whatever. After lifting weights, then we are just freaking let go. And gosh dang, it was the freaking most beautiful thing. Because we were given that respect, and also though we were such elite level athletes. I recognize looking back. So the standard, y'all, if you don't know, sub 18-minute 3 mile, and you know if you got muscle on your frame, that ain't no punk.
No.
Sub 18-minute 3 mile, 20 pulls, 100 crunches.
And that's
dead hang
crunches
pulls.
in like what, a minute, 2 minutes,
I think
or
it's
something like that?
minute or something like that. And then you still have to swim with camis 500 meters underneath, I think 7.5 minutes with camis. And that's just like showing up.
Yeah.
So now you got our homies there at the unit. When I showed up, they were just so elite. They were so incredible. Many of them came from swimming background, high-end football background, high-end athletic background. And they were all very, very smart. I was a great martial artist. I tell Ileana, my girl, and you know, regardless if we're fighting or on again and off again, I always tell her, hey, don't tell me about any timeline unless it's a second and below. I'm fantastic at a quarter second. I'm fantastic at a fucking half a second. Even one.
Sounds like Texas sex
yeah,
life.
I'm fucking fantastic.
It's fantastic in half a second.
Yeah, my martial arts, because of Chun Man Sit from Hong Kong. And when I made it to Recon, I went through ARS. It doesn't even exist anymore, y'all. Amphibious Reconnaissance School. Mother frappers died in our school. It is, gosh dang it, it was just the heaviest, most destructo school. So I'm competing as a lance corporal against captains and staff sergeants and gunnery sergeants, people with incredible fleet experience, rangers, snipers, all trying to come to Recon. I didn't even know what Recon was. I was just an infantry cat. But I was given the opportunity, and I was so scared to death of the swimming. But my teammates behind me were so proud of me. I was too embarrassed to turn to not do what I was supposed to do and get on that bus. I didn't want to have anything to do with Recon. I wanted nothing to do with Recon because I didn't know how to swim.
And that was just because of swimming.
Yeah, well, that's enough, brothers. Have you guys ever fucking swam with freaking gear on?
No, but that's the thing. I fucked that. Like, even with gear, I couldn't imagine it. I know Tex swims.
I can't even swim without gear.
Well, that's because your body hair.
That's
I mean,
right.
if we shaved you up, if we shaved you up like Rafael Ruiz, if we shaved you like the Ruiz, like a hairless cat, you would be much better in the water.
Now, what do you mean? Like,
I don't think so.
If we shave Tex,
I
like
could teach
Roth
you how to be
used
great.
to shave Tex? Is that what you mean? Or how Roth shaves himself?
Do you think we could get Roth to shore Tex? Because to shave somebody is to shore them, right? Is that how it works? Yeah, shoring like shoring sheep. The other day I drove by the sheep farmers and they're out there shoring the sheep, so I'm assuming that we could shore you. Like,
Sure.
Oh, remember in the dang, what was that freaking Austin Powers, the shorn testicles?
yeah, oh, it's quite breathtaking, really.
Dog, I didn't know how to swim properly.
So how did you learn to swim? You just
got destroyed and crushed, and then took every opportunity to learn. Okay, first I was second class through boot camp and such. After that, because I did very well, I was meritorious. I was the honor man and Iron Man and such. I was meritoriously promoted. They put me on guard duty. Oh, God dang. All y'all out there at Horno, 1-1, guard duty. I had young Marines trying to kill themselves every day, stuck in a little crazy box, they call it. For 3 weeks, I never left the squad bay, but they had a pull-up bar, and all I did is shadow box with martial arts and pull-up bar and push-ups. I was always in charge of relieving the guard, and I was always in charge of everybody trying to kill themselves and run away. Oh, have mercy on my soul. Jesus, how did I do this shit? And the young brothers just looked up to me and loved me. And when Recon came through, little did I know that the corporal of the guard said, "Hey, we got this one guy, Reyes, and I think he's your guy." The Recon cats came through. And I remember in the Marine Corps in those days, to have gold wings and a dive bubble, if you can imagine 300,000 Marines, and there was only 300 in the whole world that were Recon Marines. 300 in the whole freaking world,
right,
between 5 units. I mean, so we're all in awe, right? They asked me, they said, "Well, who wants to freaking try out? Right? Do you want some, who wants to have some fucking sand in the middle of the fucking ass crack after parachuting into the ocean, hitting that beach, cammied up, hooking up on a freaking spy rig and extracting and all." I'm like, gosh, dang, I don't know if I want to do any of that because I don't know how to even swim. But my homies were like, Reyes. Actually, they call me Karate Kid because I already kicked some fucking motherfuckers in the stomach a couple times. Believe it or not, bless him, my school of infantry instructor, I was doing a checkpoint and he attacked. And so just immediately I just shifted, side kicked him, sent him to the ditch.
No shit.
Yeah, of course. They didn't know I was a world champion kickboxer already, They said, Karate Kid will do it, Karate Kid will do it. I couldn't fucking let him down, so I showed up. Number 1 on the freaking PFT, number 1 on the obstacle course, number 1 on the freaking ruck run. 60 pounds or 70 pounds on your pack, 6-7 miles. And I got to rest all that time when I got to the pool. Holy moly, they drowned the living shit out of me. I thought that I would never, ever make it out. It was horrible because I didn't know how to swim. And I have fucking camis on and boots and shit. And, but I realized looking back now, they didn't want to kill me. They already knew that I had the prerequisites, that I could be trained. They just hazed me enough, tested me enough to make sure I kept my bearing. And then they pushed me, and then I got to go to school. So the first guy I called, I ran up there to the freaking payphones by the old post office on Margarita. They don't even have payphones. But guys, this is so old. This is 20 freaking years ago. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine? Damn near 20 years ago, the first person I called, not my wife, Cherie, who I love very much, Cherie. I love you, babe. And she was with me through all the hardest years. We're not together anymore. Called my dad, Rudy Reyes Sr., and he's not even my biological father. He was so freaking proud. I said, Mijo, you've done so much more than I've ever done. Mijo, you make me so proud. Mm-hmm. And that was just a chance to go to school. I go through all kinds of arduous shit, break my foot, fucking get like gangrene, get tumors, combat dive, whatever, because I kept competing and trying to be the best. And then straight to Scout Sniper School. In 3 years, I am a Scout Sniper, which, by the way, you all, if none of y'all know out there, that is the most prestigious mother-frapping sniper program in the mother-frapping world. And it's 3.5 months for a freaking reason, because it takes that much freaking time to get even a basic understanding of the skill and the fieldcraft.
Yeah.
All right. Recon Marine, Scout Sniper, Paratrooper, Combat Diver, Combat Water Survival Swimmer, SEER trained, and Urban RNS, and Mountain Warfare guy. They pushed me. But everybody in my team was and platoon was so fantastic. They were already Rangers and snipers in the Marine Corps. drill instructors. I mean, this is the best of the best, y'all. The best of the best. And you all out there that have no concept is because this is the 90s. And
No internet.
no internet, and also because of politics, the Marine Corps intentionally kept Recon out of JSOC because they don't want anybody commanding us. There was an experimental unit, though, and that was Alpha Company in Hawaii, and that's where Roger Sparks came from, my mentor, before he came over to First Recon Company. We did this all for black silkies, a black t-shirt, a boonie cover, and 80 more pounds on our pack. And of course, the respect.
Yeah, so that was the badge of honor, right?
That's what we did it for. There was no this. This is so interesting, man. This whole freaking arrogance and this, like, I don't know what people even thinking about, like your guns and like your cool stuff and your freaking kit and Gucci stuff. My man, I could take an H harness right now with something with a little plate. I could take an old M16A2. I'll still rain death on a fool. I mean, come on. It's
Bad
so
motherfucker.
interesting. Well, yeah, because brilliance in the basics. They spent all of the money on us back then on teaching and training us, and our leadership was so fantastic. It was so wild, y'all. I don't even know how to fucking begin. It was just so much. And then I'd come home every couple of weeks to my little Vista Way apartment up there across the way from the 78 where the Devil Dog Mall is, and the driving range, and gosh dang, I'd be so tired. Cami paint still all in my ears because I get out of the field on Thursday night, Friday, clean weapons all freaking morning, and then freaking finally get turn to the evening and pick up Cherie at the freaking Kinko's, and we try to watch our HBO boxing or some Sopranos or whatever, and I'm freaking fading out, falling asleep in the field all week. 07 in the morning, all my little Mexican kids knocking on my door. Rudy, can you watch us at the pool? Because I'm the only mother frapper that can swim. I'm a lifeguard now by this point, so I'm the only one that can swim. Can you imagine this freaking karma? So I would go down there freaking bleary-eyed and shit and watch the kids swim. But then I started teaching them how to do ditch and dawns with their snorkel and mask. Fans, I brought my gear down. Anyway, we created this whole freaking culture. And then I started going to war, and then I'd come home and I'd be happy for a while, and then have to go to another one and another one and another one. And yeah.
So you have this whole volume of training that you've done leading up to this, and then all of a sudden 9/11 hits, and it's almost as if all the training that you had done in anticipation of this, all of a sudden now you get mobilized. Can you talk a little bit about how there was almost like a paradigm shift where, you had gone from this idea that we were going to do this training to build this skill set to do it, to now all of a sudden fucking, kick the tires, light the fires, we're fucking ready to go.
I love that term, kick the tires, light the fires. First of all, John, I got to tell you, dog, I had a strange feeling that when I joined the Marine Corps, and I joined because I saw a documentary about ethnic cleansing in Kosovo.
I thought you were going to say Heartbreak Ridge, but
I love my Heartbreak Ridge and all that, but that didn't motivate me enough to join.
Okay.
I'm not an egotist. I was doing Zen Buddhism, and I was doing martial arts and following.
So you saw the whole, and I actually know the documentary that you're talking about the ethnic cleansing in Bosnia. That's
right. And they had an orphanage of those little kids.
Yeah.
And after I saw that, I said, gosh. And if you recall, John, back then there was the political climate. President Clinton said that we were going to put boots on the ground. That sealed it for me. I didn't believe in hurting or killing anybody. I didn't even eat meat. I just read comic books and did tons of kicking drills and punching drills and threw people on their head. That's all I did. And but I thought, what am I here to stand for? I'm an able-bodied American, so I have to protect these children. That's why I joined the Marine Corps, and I joined as an infantryman. I had no idea all these spec ops and all this ridiculousness. Man, the only thing I ever heard about when I was a kid is that the baddest dudes on the planet oh, these freaking Marines that charged beaches in Tokyo, Iwo Jima. Mm-hmm. And so I said, okay, I'll just do the hardest shit. I wasn't looking into like what I could do for me. By the way, the recruiters were trying to get me into avionics and all these other things because of my GT score or whatever. I'm like, no, I just really want to be infantry, because those are the guys that fight, right? Even though I don't even want to hurt nobody.
Yeah.
But I can't let anybody else go hurt and fight and die if I'm not alongside of them. That's how it all started for me. That's how it all started, brother. And I didn't even know what the hell I was getting into at all. How could you know? How could you know? You know what I'm saying? Dang. It was hard, too. And by the way, any Marine punk that tries to say boot camp wasn't hard, let me tell you what, John. Tell you what, son. They weren't the guide. They weren't in charge. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I was in charge and the guide. They starved the living shit out of me. They starved me so bad, brothers. When my freaking wife came to see me for graduation, I was 150 pounds and my neck was like this big around. To simulate combat stress, and it worked. So I slept maybe 3 hours every night, maybe 2, because I do inspections every night, and starved. And there was one cat that brought home some cookies and some fucking mother frapping peanut butter from the chow hall, which is absolutely, what do you call it, contraband. They found these cookies and peanut butter under this cat's pillow. They rode him so hard, he almost committed suicide, and his mother had to get a congressman to get him out of boot camp. So, can you guys believe this virtue? Look, can you believe this virtue? 3.5 months, I never even considered taking one little packet of peanut butter.
And they're fucking starving you.
No, they starved me to the death. Mm-hmm. I'm the last guy to sit down with a bunch of fat bodies. Can you guys imagine a bunch of obese motherfuckers eating before you? Everybody, 78 mother frappers eating before you. And then the nasty, and I'll never forget this black brother with, he looked like freaking hot dogs behind his neck. Just a nasty old thing. Just a nasty, weak body.
Like a pack of hot dogs.
Yes, and a weak body. Just a weak fucking body. I would love to find him again. And I know if he ever hears this, he's going to know who he is.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Hey, Oscar Mayer, hot dog man.
Oh, he was.
Rudy Reyes coming for you.
I think you were a scribe and you just had poor posture and weak freaking quadriceps, a huge booty, big belly, and shallow shoulders. You're just a nasty thing. I can't even believe you're a Marine. So he was right in front of me. Holy moly. And I thought I was the last recruit, so I have to wait till everybody eats before me, right? God damn. Damn, it was tough. I can't believe this shit. Well, this nasty 4 freaking hot dog neck, nasty scribe. I can't even remember his name, but I see his ugly ass self right now. He looks like a gosh dang, like enemy mine, like Lewis got.
Zombies.
Yes.
Zombies.
Yes. Well, I think I'm the. What is that? PFC Reyes. Requesting permission from Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Slicer, last recruit to bust the chow line, sir. You have to go to, guys, can you imagine all the thinking? You got to do this all the time. He lets me all the way through, and this nasty fat body comes in behind me, this nasty pork chop ass fat body behind me, because he was that dental punk ass fool. And as I'm finally clearing the chow line, and all I asked him to do is put everything on my plate, and I would pour honey and syrup over everything and just shovel it in my mouth. Not even ever fucking do anything. I only got 3 minutes to eat 3 times a day. 3 minutes to eat 3 times a day. And then my drill instructor says on his slide, he's like, he was like, report, Recruit Reyes. PFC Reyes, last recruit to bust the chow line. Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Live, sir. He goes, oh, you're the last recruit? I'm like, aye, sir. Are you sure? Aye, sir. I didn't realize the mother frapper was behind me because he just came in from dental. I look behind. My drill instructor slaps my tray up in the freaking air. All of my food, all over my face, everything flying everywhere. My little freaking lemonade everywhere. I mean, just humiliating the fuck out of me. That was basically my life for 3.5 months. And then basically they just let you know that this is called the burden of leadership. You'll be humiliated. You'll be destroyed because nothing is ever good enough. And if you don't want it, then step out. Mm-hmm. Gosh. Right.
I mean, it just goes to show there's a breed of fucking human where that hardship and that grind is a catalyst for success, right? You grow from it. And, not in that moment, but over a long enough period of time, you bounce back, right? And I think it's important to say that it's a breed of human because there's not a lot of fucking people like that we've run into, especially the petty shit, John, and that we oftentimes put up with in our grander circle. You know what I mean? There's a comma where there should be a fucking period. I want a fucking refund. And holy shit. But and that's not an excuse to accept anything but excellence, but it's just it's interesting to hear Rudy's perspective on this because even before the show we were talking about and you don't have to get into it, Rudy, but you're like, man, I had a rough upbringing, and it's a fact. And then that was what you qualified it as because Tex and I and John and you just a fraction of what you have traveled and seen around the world can start to appreciate that. But there's a whole fucking slew of people that have no fucking clue what that means because they haven't been to fucking Africa. They haven't been to some of the armpit of the fucking universe to realize what is a hard time.
Well, well, the other one too is as Rudy can speak on from having traveled. I mean, when you meet people here that are like emo and like, oh, nothing's right, everything's terrible, and you're like,
it's like you're an American motherfucker.
You need to go to some of these places. I mean, like
you got the lottery ticket. You're here.
Yeah, seriously.
Like I know the documentary you're talking about the ethnic cleansing in Bosnia, but
remember that? That's what.
Yeah,
that was my impetus. That was my impetus.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Marine Corps.
When I was in college, I took a class that was called Afro-American Studies 142A and B, and it was third world films deal, and we watched a bunch of that stuff. But I also remember seeing some of the documentary about, and I cannot remember the name, about the Afghani little boys that with the sex trade.
Bachi.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, yes. Oh my God.
Don't get me. Yeah, bro. You remember the little boy says, I'm ruined.
I have never.
I'm ruined.
I have never.
He's saying, I'm ruined.
I have I got two daughters. I got twin little girls and a son. And as a parent, if you guys haven't seen it, you need a strong stomach. But I will never in my life ever think at some point, the fact that we even turned that place into a parking lot after seeing that place, that movie blew me away. I was like, my God. And that's their cultural deal, man. People just don't have value. And I think perspective. I mean, people just lack the perspective, which, just blows my mind. So, that shit fucking tore me.
And that's also not an excuse to try and make what we have a better place. You know what I mean? Which I think we all have the power to do that type of shit. And Rudy, that's what you're that's why you enlisted, right? Is to...
Yes, I thought I was just here
to push the needle, right?
To make a difference and to stand for something and protect those who needed support. And I just believe that I have to sacrifice my life alongside other young men to fight for good. That's it. I didn't know bigger pictures than that.
Fuck, isn't that idealistic?
Yeah, of course. What's wrong with that?
I mean, but what's so kind of pure about it is this idea of good, but the people necessarily drawing the pieces and pushing the pieces on the table don't have the same agenda.
No.
Many times it's their own personal agenda.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's always kind of makes me. Wow.
Yeah. Well, John, the brothers infantry, infant is child soldier. In baby soldier, infant. Why? Because a little child, a little boy, is easy to convince through idealism and lack of experience to fight and to kill and dominate and or be destroyed. Mm-hmm. for a great cause. And that's where the term infantry comes from. Infant, child soldier. As we
Rudy,
know,
do
now
you
we're
think-
older. Yes, sir.
Sorry, Rudy, do you think that all Americans should have at least 2 years of minimal service, no matter the age? So not talking draft, but just required service such as Israel does.
I would love that. So interesting. Alexander Skarsgård from Gen Kill, he's become a superstar through True Blood and Tarzan and all these features. By the way, he's put me in a couple jobs.
Oh, no shit.
I've not asked a thing. He is just a freaking good man to me. Why? Because he did 2 years compulsory service as a Marine in Sweden.
Oh, wow.
His father and I are very close too. I think it would be great. So that we all can understand each other better. Mostly so that we all understand each other better and understand how blessed we are to be here. I don't know if you guys see the parallels with Rome and such. Is my service almost a mercenary service? As a contractor, is it a mercenary service? And if so, then please be careful, because we're going to lose. We're going to lose the ideal and lose the ethos and damn sure lose the virtue in our culture if we're just a mercenary force for fighting and domination. Y'all, I wish I could tell you all. Gosh, you guys don't even freaking know, man. Out there. Okay. Hey, y'all. You know how you guys had scouts in your day looking for you all? Do you guys know we had scouts out there looking for us? Did you guys know that?
Like talent scouts, like in Hollywood?
No.
I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Talent scouts like
Military talent scouts.
How good are you fucking smoking motherfuckers and shooting people in the face and fucking handling business surreptitiously? How good can you kidnap fools? How good? Do you know that we had scouts there, guys? Did you ever know
I
that?
firmly believe that there are there are people out there that are hunting for nefarious people that can do nefarious things, and with that, and clandestine deal. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, if you're trying to run
Makes
an
all the sense
efficient
in the world.
corporation, then
It
you got
is.
to go out and you got to find efficient players.
John, you're exactly right. This is, but remember, in my day, and I was a team leader. I just noticed that there was some badass dudes about my age now with fun, cool little beards and hip-ass weapon systems and some fun, cool shit going on and kicking it with me and shooting the breeze and shit. Well, we're toweling off our hair and our freaking armpits with this little thing. Or next thing you know, I'm getting an order, or I get some word that he's going to attach to us because he's going to do some freaking hit, and then do some human exploitation stuff or whatever. And next thing you know, his hair's cut. He's got exactly the same camis as we do in gear and shit like that. It's such a trip, yo. Many people don't understand the incredible business of warfighting. And everything that goes into it. And it can be nebulous. It can also be really beautiful and altruistic. Nobody ever talks about any of this stuff because I don't know why. I did a State Department job and stuff, and basically I was hired because I was so naive and so sweet with people. No one imagined that the person I was working for was smuggling drugs in and out of the country.
Yeah.
Right? So interesting. It's interesting.
Like for a person like you who's pretty idealistic, how do you kind of balance, working, let's say in a job or necessarily with people that don't have the same, ideals in a lot of way. I mean, you were in it for the purity, let's say, and worked for people that were in it for personal gain or, to necessarily, not in the same vein, to say it nicely. And I just wonder how you wrestled with that when all of a sudden you pulled back and saw that the Wizard of Oz wasn't who you thought it was.
Thank God I was just in such a... Thank God I was fucking fighting for my life and my team's life, and all of us were slaying in Fallujah. Thank God. All y'all out there, I just gotta let y'all know. We were rocking and rolling overt and covert for 9 months straight, not tempo, in Fallujah and Ramadi. And I ate chow with those cats from Blackwater in the morning. And by the way, they were arrogant and overconfident and wearing Under Armour shirts and a bunch of fucking, quite frankly, bunch of freaking sports type of bullshit. Bunch of freaking arrogant bums. And through that day, I got chopped to do a sniper position for CAG, for Delta. And then on the hook, we're hearing about these freaking Blackwater clowns getting hung up, strung up, burned up. They ran out there, y'all, to get chicken and to get liquor, and they didn't have no machine guns. They didn't have enough ass. And, you know, as men, when we say enough ass, like a fucking big booty on a woman, it's not just that. What we really mean is assets. Mm-hmm. They didn't have any of that. They thought they were too cool for school, and they were all freaking ridiculous jokers. Because guess what? I realized later, me and my people had way more combat experience than any of these contractors at that time. They'd been riding that graving train. They'd done the SEALs and Rangers and Recon and stuff like that in the 90s, but they didn't freaking stay in and rock and roll with us in 2001, 2003, 2004, 2005. Hubris. And I saw a little bird get fucking blown right out of the sky above me with the Grail missile system. A Russian heat seeker system blew this freaking bird right out of the sky above my head. Oh, we were rocking it. Man, you know, it's just wild. It's just wild. It's not like the movies. It's not like anything like that. It's very intimate. And eventually your people get hurt, killed, and then you kill a bunch of them. And we shut down Fallujah for quite some time because anybody out there at night digging, or anybody even with a shovel walking around, we killed you. It was a different time. It was an interesting time.
So is it all this experience? I mean, because you consulted as well on the Generation Kill gig, right?
I did.
So were you able to insert any of that realism?
I did as best I could, but I realize now, looking back, I was in so much pain myself, and so much. I was in so much. I was lost. I had no idea what I was doing and who I was and what I was meant for anymore. And I did my best, but then they brought up some things that were quite hard for me, like when Tromley in the vehicle ahead of me shot those kids. I remember we had just got you have no idea how freaking tired we were. We hadn't slept in at least a week. We were wearing mop suits, running and gunning, fighting, going through freaking horror, fighting, running and gunning, fighting, digging, fighting. We got the word just as I set up my freaking cami nets for my team, and I just laid down for 5 minutes, and then I had to go attack this airstrip. And we were told anyone on the airstrip is considered hostile. But me and my teammates were quite experienced. We were right behind Tromley. We could tell that these were just shepherds and they were too little to be enemies. But Tromley freaking put a burst of 5.56 from the saw into this little child. And this is the truth about any corporate biz. We didn't have enough Recon Marines by then. We needed more to do this invasion, and so we had people like Tromley and others with no schooling, no training, not like us, no discernment, put into the units so that we could spearhead this invasion. And so people made mistakes sometimes, and they killed or hit and killed these folks. And when I found out that they were just innocent, I had such hatred and rage to Tromley, especially because, again, he was not a Recon Marine and he was a freaking weak body. We can't handle weakness, y'all. We cannot handle a weak body because we know, all of us as athletes, the moment you're tired, you're not thinking. If you're not thinking, you're a freaking casualty. So, Yeah, it was just immense. It was just immense. And they were gonna, somebody high up said, fuck those kids, fuck the people that you shot, just let them fucking die. And somebody else said, no, let's get them some medical attention. And then somebody else said, my colonel was like, well, all right, we're bringing them back to get medical attention, but understand that if any of you all get hit or any other Marines get hit for 7 hours, no one's coming for you all. So you've sacrificed yourself for these people. That's all I know. It's interesting. It's wild, right? So I'm watching this in the gosh dang film. I lose my freaking mind because the actors are all like, God, Rudy Reyes, you guys are freaking savages, or you guys are freaking disgusting. I freaking lost my mind. I imagine with the director, producer, and by then we had this, I don't give a shit what you freaking ever say, Simon Kellen Jones. Anybody out there ever listen to Simon Kellen Jones? This punk ass, holier than thou.
Who is that? Who is that?
Simon Kellen Jones.
Is he an actor? Is he a director?
A director. And this piece of freaking garbage had the gall to say to me, well, that's why I get paid the big bucks. When I asked him a question, and he was so upset, quite frankly, because all the freaking girls wanted to hang out with me and Eric Cucker, and all the actors wanted to freaking run guns and do kickboxing with me and Eric Cucker. And he, for the first time, was, an afterthought. Simon Kellen Jones. So then we went to this little freaking party or whatever, and this stupid fool, I don't know if he was tearing up on drugs or alcohol, whatever, he grabbed me around my freaking body. I exploded, threw him into the ceiling. Threw him into the ceiling. His feet hit the ceiling. He dropped on his head, unconscious. This ridiculous fool. And I started thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing? We're making a movie about what we went through, which, by the way, ain't shit compared to Fallujah and Ramadi the next time. Yeah. God dang, guys. I was so scarred from all the shit that I did the next fucking tour.
What movie was this?
Generation Kill.
This was Generation Kill?
Yeah. Okay. I'm making just a little 7-8 week little freaking pomp of fighting and shit. That ain't shit. Can you imagine being in freaking Fallujah and Ramadi? Continuous? Overt, covert? Continuous? Holy moly, just the immensity of it. It was a trip. Anyway, so I had nothing to say except how do I make everybody better, and I asked the wardrobe ladies to tailor my shirts because take away some of the extra fabric on my waist. I mean, that's what I did.
Yeah. What else are you going to do?
It's a trip. I brought my little brother Michael out there.
Nice. And
you know me. I like to just share. He didn't appreciate it really at the time. He's like, I miss my dog. I miss my mother frapper.
Where were you guys filming?
South Africa and Mozambique.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Yeah, right? Enjoy it.
He got his dang bodyguard. He's eating freaking great chow. We can live.
I know. I've never been to Africa. Tex and Luke got to go to Africa, and unfortunately,
Cape Town.
Yeah, I didn't get to go.
Love Cape Town. Yes, I brought Michael there too. Just it was a trip. Anyway, yeah, man. How do you even begin all this stuff? You start out as a kid and you want to be Bruce Lee and Spider-Man and Tarzan.
I always have this debate with people, and it's kind of even a debate within myself. I always wonder if great men are born, or great men are great men because of the situations that they develop. And it's like why is it that we have these incredible figures that we look back on with different points? I mean, people were talking about Abraham Lincoln with the Civil War and this. I mean, was he just an average or just a normal person? I mean, obviously not, but is it great men who happen to be in the great time, or is it just the great time that forges it? as I'm listening to this, I keep thinking to myself, what had happened to Rudy Reyes if you hadn't gone in the military, or if we hadn't had a way for you necessarily to display all this with a 9/11 attack? What do you think you would have done?
I don't know. I was already a world champion kickboxer. My character was correct. I was with Cherie, my same woman. I don't know if there was a choice, though. If that would have happened while I was not in the Marine, I was already in the Marine Corps. I can't imagine if I was not in the Marine Corps and I saw that attack, I would have to, because I recognize how privileged I am to be an orphan in the United States of America, in the Omaha Home for Boys. We got our hair cut every 2 weeks. We did our chores, and I drove the tractor. I ran the freaking chow hall. We got paid 60 cents or 75 cents a job, depending how hard it was. Not an hour, a job. So it could be 3 or 4 hours, but you get 75 cents or 60 cents, depending on what you got. You had a time card. We had weights. And I had a great freaking wrestling team, and my coach was the dean of boys. So only in America could you have so much freaking going for you. When I heard about Kosovo, that was all it took for me. I got to stand for something. I got to freaking step up and help these kids. I got to fight. If anyone's going to put their feet out there to fight, I have to be next to them. And even though I'm scared, even though I never shot anybody, even though I don't even know how to use assault weapons, I don't know any of that stuff. I'm scared to even hurt anybody. All my fights I ever won in the ring, I would sidekick people into the stomach or kick them in the head or not hit them with the right hand. And once it connected, I was always look away because I didn't want to see them in pain and hurt, even though they'd be unconscious or whatever like that. You know what I mean? But if there's a travesty and if there's an absolutely tyranny must be stopped, so that's why I joined. And if that would have happened later, I don't know what. You know what? I would have been happy working at Denny's. I'd be happy working at Denny's doing my plyometrics, jump rope, and some gymnastics.
I don't buy it.
Maybe not.
I don't buy it. You know why? I mean, it's. People have always looked for ways to measure themselves against other people.
Well, we do.
You have to. You have to.
We do.
You constantly always have to know how good or bad you are.
That's true.
I think that as you go on, you have to continue to measure yourself against, smaller and smaller groups.
Yeah.
I don't see you necessarily slinging burgers at Denny's, just doing some plyometrics. I see you out there trying to do something else. And I mean,
holy moly! Now that you mentioned that, I thought about setting up the first freaking Kansas City chapter of the Guardian Angels. Vigilantes! No, for real. Patrolling the streets. Freaking taking care of my community. That's what I thought about doing.
Frontier justice.
ooh,
Provide and protect. Holy moly, y'all. You guys are too young to even remember. John will remember. You too. You're too young. I fought in the gosh dang Rodney King mother frapping riots in Kansas City at 31st and Main, son.
So you're out there whooping ass?
you were out there.
Yes. I got mauled. And I fought my two little... We just got out of Kung Fu at 2100. And we were trying to get to... We were on 31st and Oak. And there was a massive riot going on. Probably 400 or 500 black folk. And my dumbass girlfriend she didn't want to run over anybody, you know what I mean? She was too stupid. I was like, you need to get us through this intersection because we're probably going to be killed. She couldn't freaking drive, so I freaking jumped on top of her. I drove on top of her and ran over a few people, but I had to, man. It's only me and my two little brothers and her little fucking white ass, 100-pound white girl with fucking blue eyes. Forget it. So we roll 2 blocks up. I bang that left on Oak. 2 cars follow us.
Uh-oh.
Of course. That's how it really goes down, y'all. And, I'm sorry, some of y'all out there, you think you're ethnic and my skin looks light, but I'm Mexican as all get out, and I have more soul than any of you fools. So, or get out of my car. I say, Lisa, call the police. We have a phone in the little apartment, hood-ass apartment. This is Oak and 31st Street. These brothers drive into my driveway. Holy smokes, man. The lead guy that was driving opens up his door. Of course, I immediately leap front kick that door and crush his arm and fuck him up. And so he doesn't get back out. The guy on the right side comes out with a full beer bottle and throws it. It hits the tree right next to me. And remember, I'm only 19 or 20. Caesar's 17. Michael's 15 or 16. The beer breaks and the glass hits my head. This is where this scar's from right here. You see that scar? But I was so fired up, I thought it was just beer. That was just beer. It was all fucking blood coming all over my face. I'm like, come on, motherfucker. I mean, it's just me and Michael and Caesar. I'm 155, 160 pounds at the time. I got to go hard. I only got Mikey and Caesar with me. Another cat throws a freaking beer at us, full beer. It hits the apartment building, falls down right here. Caesar Reyes, the freaking ninja, steps on it, steps on the beer, spins it like backwards with his foot. And as it's spinning, he goes, I don't want to have to kick y'all's ass. Or no, I don't want no trouble. I'll kick your fucking ass if need be. And then he kicked the bottle, hit their freaking windshield, exploded. The next guy wheeled around for me. I freaking went in, two-hand pushed him, big side kick. And I think his boy might have run over him a little bit, one of his legs, after I freaking dumped him. And it was incredible. And they all ran away. The two cars ran away. And a little later that night, they burglarized all the cars down the fucking block. This is like Rodney King time, 92 or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, it's wild times, man. I never gave up. I just taught my brothers to lift weights at the YMCA, do Shaolin Kung Fu with John Reeder, and have work ethic and be good to women.
And I mean, you do a lot of speaking, right?
I do, I guess, kind of. I just help folks, and I've got a speaking engagement tomorrow in Indiana, and really just helping.
And then does the message change based off audience, or is it the same message?
I don't know.
Just do the right thing and fucking don't quit, right?
Yes, and give people respect and love. Give your audience respect and love. Most of your audience is struggling too for that positive mental attitude and having the grace themselves. In this modern world, it seems to me, and I mean this with all sensitivity. The masculine and the male and the warrior caste, and also straight up base human survival and roles to create a human race have been so convoluted. I'm a sweetheart, and I watch a gosh dang infomercial. I might cry if you got some old folks and some kids in it. But first and foremost, what I'm designed to do here on this planet, first and foremost, is absolutely fight, kill, repel anyone that wants to hurt my women and children, and to protect the village. So that's it first. Then hunt. Then after that, then we can start raising children too. But first and foremost, you must be able to fight and protect the women and children.
And you think that's universally?
Well,
everybody.
It's genetic. Well, of course, I don't.
Well, I mean, for you, Rudy, we know that. I mean, we know that.
Well,
it's proven, written in fucking stone, man.
Yeah, look at the animal kingdom.
Sure.
Same. Mm-hmm. I think it's base nature, and it's not macho. It's not misogynistic by any means. Because remember, us men, we don't have no children if we don't have a good woman in our life.
Yeah, then how come? If you think that's an like a base level instinct, then how come so few people subscribe to it?
As a base drive,
I mean,
which it is a base drive.
Look at your upbringing. Look how you were raised. I mean, we were talking before this, but I mean, did you as a 3-year-old little boy? I mean, the people that were put in charge to necessarily watch you did not show you any kindness and didn't raise you as to protect the children, and.
For sure, and that's why that line will die out. My early childhood and from the Quintanilla side and from my mother's father's side, I mean, that's why they will die out. They're abusive and.
But I mean, that's so prevalent, like especially in the Latino community.
It is. I would say, well, I don't know. I saw it in the Middle Eastern communities too, in Iraq as well, and in Afghanistan, and
Africa.
Yes, and Africa as well. I've seen this kind of sexual abuse, destruction. Maybe it's just because I'm educated, or because I've been blessed to be.
Because you know better.
Yeah, I've been in Babylon. Gosh dang, how many people you all know been to Babylon, man? I've been to freaking Babylon.
Only in the Bible.
You know what I'm saying? And on that Euphrates, and been around the world and such. Once you know that, well, gosh dang, remember when we would watch Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon, or if we watched freaking Karate Kid, freaking Mr. Miyagi, we watched freaking First Blood, if we watched Rocky Motherfrappin' 4,
or Barry Gordon's The Last Dragon, probably one of my favorite martial arts movies ever. Show enough. Who's the baddest man up and down around this town? To this day, one of my favorite movies.
No. Kiss my Converse. Right?
It's one of the best.
Brother, I haven't seen it in so long. But I
dude,
still remember
dude, like it was nothing. Yeah.
God dang. All these silly folks out here in America. I love y'all. Even I love all of you guys that have dreams and love and care about human rights, and I love all of you that are so idealistic that you're still doing your very best, even though you're doing your very best to believe in something so great. But just to let you all know, there's no such thing as human rights. There's no such thing as women's rights. There's no such thing as children's rights. There's no such thing as labor laws. There's no such thing as any of that. This is only what first world people kind of throw around, and Americans really throw it around. But violence trumps everything. Violence is the absolutely pinnacle ace of spades. And if you don't know how to handle violence and be able to use violence tactically, and if you don't know that when you lose electricity for a week, or there's no plumbing for a week, and people start getting desperate with water and food, there will be horrible murder, and they'll take your women and your children, or kill your children, take your women. So if you don't understand that, just go spend some time in the Congo, go spend some time in Mozambique, go spend some time in Iraq.
I always think if you take like a westernized society and you start removing things, I mean, I remember, power goes out, or, all of a sudden basic, human services go down, and all of a sudden, man, people really will revert to their most basic instincts.
Absolutely, isn't it? And it can also be beautiful. You'll find some great character in people too, but not much. Most people do not have great character. They've not ever really developed it. We have a strange society. Go ahead.
Do you have a way? So what's the character test? And then how do you know?
I think it's a daily practice.
Can you test it in America? Can you get a true test of character?
I'm going to jump in and tell you that character is something that it is pretty interesting. I mean, I always thought about like how do people view you? Is that necessarily your character? And it wasn't until I had kids And I started, and and then you look at like how you raise your kids, and then all of a sudden you see your kids do things that are a reflection of you.
Yes.
And then that becomes almost like a looking glass for your character. And then you think about what do I want my children to remember about me? Like if all of a sudden I'm gone and my kids are on a podcast like this, what stories are they going to tell? What lessons have they learned? How has their life come up, and what can I teach them? And I think much like Rudy going in the Marines and and all these different lessons that they taught them. As a parent, you almost have to arm your kids, and I've told you guys this a million times. What skills am I going to arm my kids with? And I have 2 daughters, so I have to arm them with even more skills because there's degenerate scumbags out there, and they have to be ready for that. But I also have to raise a little boy to be a man, and unfortunately, I got a little boy.
That's awesome. I got a boy and a girl.
Yeah, I got 2 girls. Well, when we're done with this, I'll take you over there, and you'll meet my little boy. He's pretty cool. And,
how old is he?
He's 15 months.
Ow, little man.
Oh yeah,
is he walking?
Little big man. Little big man.
He sprints.
Look at Pops.
He's a cool little kid, but I always think about you can kind of imagine what your character is, and maybe people tell you, but it isn't until you get to see the looking glass of your kids, or how you treat your wife, or these other things that gives you an accurate depiction of it. And I firmly believe that not everybody should have children, but I believe that everybody needs to have kids just so that you have that. But unfortunately, there's a lot of fucking bad people that shouldn't be able to procreate.
Yes, John, brothers, tax loop. A couple hundred years ago, there was no way for children to go forward unless everything was so on the up and up to the austere conditions, and or if your stuff was regulated through some kind of kingship and bloodline, which, by the way, doesn't make you strong. Genetic hypervigor is when people from different places come together. Genetic hypervigor. And if you did not have genetic hypervigor, you just die of immune system issues or skeletal issues or what have you. I witness this. I mean, I fight in this. I've been in villages in Iraq with 90% albinos, you all.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, but you were saying that the amount of inbreeding within some of these places is so high that just the genetic abnormalities is insane.
It is because you're dealing with sectarian warfare and blood coups and grievances of tribes and families for thousands of years since the Bible was written. Imagine what, as a first world warrior and a humanist, what I felt when I got there. And then they thought that with my medics, we could give them medicine to take away their albinoism and their tumors. Gosh, can you imagine? Can you imagine these folks coming to us and
can you cure this?
Thinking, yeah, they thought that we could, looking at us like superheroes. Gosh dang. So after we cut off the head of the regime, and after we fucked, it's so immense, just killing everybody we had to kill in front of us to keep going through and destroying, and then also us being destroyed too, in our souls. We were so professional and so aggressive that only a few of us got wounded, but we were so aggressive. After we were stood down, after a few days, we were all losing our minds, and then we wanted to go out to start helping with water and humanitarian missions. God damn, just freaking massive freaking ethnic cleansing between people, just freaking bodies everywhere. Even though, I already dealt with tons of bodies, I already killed a lot of bodies, but now it's just bodies from the Iraqis killing Iraqis. And
do you think it's that it's just the lack of value placed on life?
Oh, of course. There's no. There's very little value.
Is that an educational thing? Is that a cultural thing? Is that a religious thing? Or is it just fucking the way it is in the rest of the world?
Well, in some ways, if you look at other mammals, not much different than other mammals.
Then why this is the thing I can't really understand is, we have these, like you said, like first world people, the idealistic we need to go out and help these people. And what I think people don't, we've said it, one of my favorite quotes, and I credit Greg Glassman with it, people fail at the margins of their experience. And they don't have any perception of that world and how it exists. And then they're so shocked when these things happen.
Oh, yeah, they get rocked.
Yeah, and it's almost like, because it's, if you really think, it's the ability to sit in the ivory tower where everything's great. Like here we are on Olympus with, the other gods, and we can look down where everything's beautiful and safe, and we live this, storybook life, and we look down and we can't imagine the atrocities. And if only we show them Olympus, then the atrocities won't happen. Yeah. And little do they know that, and we got a glimpse of this when we go into the world and we try to spread, what they sell us is, we have to provide freedom for people. We have to go in there and save them, when in actuality, like, this is the way it's been since the beginning of time.
Oh, it has. It's a savage and a tyrannical and absolutely cruel, desperate world. And I've been a part and witnessed so much desperation, destruction, corruption. You have no idea all the freaking suitcases of money and all this freaking salesmen. Can you guys imagine freaking salesmen?
Poppy fields.
Salesmen for weapons. Hey, Sergeant Reyes, just try this thing out. It's freaking really hot. We'll run it in 6.8. Here's your suppressor. I tried to. Can I? And my commander's like, sure, Sergeant Reyes.
So you a fan of the 6.8?
I mean, because I didn't buy the ammo, you mean? Because it's expensive.
Yeah, 6.8 is expensive. It shoots really well suppressed with a short barrel.
It does. But it was about making money out there. I had no idea this, guys, until my last one in Fallujah and Ramadi. I didn't realize that any of this had to do with money. I didn't until then.
Well,
my heart.
One of our good friends, Ground Branch guy, made an interesting point. That was wars of occupation are about transfers of wealth.
Of course.
It's transferring of wealth from taxpayers through the government to private contractors and different companies.
Of course.
And that's how these things happen.
Of course.
On a side note, favorite weapon system?
Bare hands.
With guns, with knives, with his
bare hands. I'm happy to go with edge weapons, but I'm also, if you were to...
the G3. I like the FNFAL or the G3, the battle rifle in 7.62, because it's big enough to use for a weapon, hand to hand, more robust than the M16. With the 7.62, more stable and more freaking killing and knockdown power as well. And they're still going for 50 years and still so strong. That's probably my favorite as a battle rifle. But of course, everything in the M4 system, because you can rock and roll with keeping your right hand on the freaking shooting parts and then all other manipulations with your left hand. It's fantastic for that platform too. But then I teach the AK as well. And if you know what you're doing with the AK, you freaking rock that magazine, come underneath, freaking put it into condition 1 and rock and roll.
Did you guys use the AK much?
I teach it in the governments and other countries.
See the idea,
because that's what they have.
Yeah, so battlefield pickups, or necessarily you go into a situation where
that's what they have.
That's what they have.
That's what they have because it's the cheapest.
Sure.
So I have to know how to do all of that stuff, and the AK is a really great platform too. Close quarter, fantastic. I learned from a Green Beret, Dan Pauly, and yeah, man, shit. You know what the most important weapon system and the best weapon system for anybody to have is the one that they have.
Yeah.
That's a good point, too.
Well, what did we say earlier? Don't fear a man with 10,000 kicks. Fear the man who's learned one kick 10,000 times.
That's right. One mind, any weapon. One mind, any weapon.
It's like when you ever go shoot and somebody just has one, this is the only gun I got, you better be good with that.
Absolutely.
And because I've gone out and shot with dudes that literally bust open suitcases, and I'm like, have you shot any of these?
I would recommend, just like in martial art, just like in lifting and sports and performance and such, acquaint yourself with everything you can. Learn from everybody. Know your basic systems. Whether the Glock, the 1911, the Beretta, the SIG, the CZ. With assault rifle, know your M4, M16 system, your SCAR. Learn your freaking FNFAL and 7.62, your AKs and your AK derivatives. And then learn your basic bolt guns too. I'm a sniper as well. Sniper work is very difficult. You must do your data. You must shoot your data and understand your weather conditions and write your data in. And it's an incredible craft.
No, shooting long distance is truly a craft. It's a skill.
It's a craft. But the warrior mindset is number one. One mind, any weapon. That warrior mindset. Even my belt, like somebody yesterday was talking about if somebody's coming out with a knife, I took off that freaking belt, I swung that freaking belt buckle at them. They're like, whoa, I don't want none of that. So just think, always arm yourself.
Yeah.
This
So Rudy,
just arm yourself.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I had the opportunity to read your book about a year ago. So here a living, yeah. So I guess this is an opportune time. Could you introduce kind of the 7 strides, right? We're talking about that optimal weapon, and you provide what you refer to as a whetstone for each of the strides.
Yeah, thank you. Well, shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
I'd love to go into that and
first of all,
sharpening that hero.
Thank you, my brother. The pretext is this. I got a dang book deal because I was some kind of freaking celebrity because of HBO and some stuff like that. Guess what, y'all? I am allergic. I'm allergic to freaking celebrity, and I'm allergic to being a big shot when I know 10 dudes better than me at every freaking thing I do. So when I got that book deal, everybody was like, Rudy, tell me about this battle and that battle. And I've done some heavy shit, right? But I'm not going to freaking write a book about it when I know that my boys have died on those ops, or brothers, or they would die later, or the families are struggling, and like I'm struggling, like my wife and I are divorced. I mean, fuck, am I going to write books about this kind of freaking glamour? And so I decided, well, then maybe I'll just do philosophy and look at these paradigms and platforms as the ultimate in human virtues, and think about how to do it with practice, not an absolute standard. You see what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, totally.
A practice, not an absolute standard. Let it inform you, I would say, about are these bars, are they part of your cage? And if they're part of your cage that's holding you back or locking you in, can you freaking start removing those bars and crafting them into some kind of tool to unlock that cage and move forward? And it's loosely based on the Campbell-esque journey and Power of Myth and Hero of a Thousand Faces. And I just wanted to give some philosophy and then also not and be as truthful and respectful as possible without aggrandizing warfare.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about...
I didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, when we were driving in the car, you were talking about something that kind of bothered you was the hypocrisy, where you have, the, different Hollywood actors coming out and saying, violence is bad, guns, but they're the ones making the Jason Bourne movies and this. Bro, and we, or even we talked a little bit about, guys, having fairly, storyboard careers in the military and coming out and writing the tell-all book to cash in on the Bin Laden stuff, and you talked about the hypocrisy of it.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's so wild. It's so wild. There was a different culture. Remember, I joined the military in the 90s, bros. I was in the 90s, and we didn't even know this shit existed, for crying out loud. And we call them Blue Falcons, buddy fuckers, and Spotlight Rangers, we call them in Recon. Like whenever somebody's looking, then that's when you put on your red lids flashlight and stuff. I mean, it's just ethically we are always against that, and that's why I do not exploit my bros when I was writing either. Gosh, so many guys, so many people don't even realize, so many of our brothers in Recon and now in MARSOC, we die in training, man. We die in training. So many of us die in training. So many. Like, it's just another world. It's such a sacrifice. And I remember when those 22 brothers from Force died when I first got to the unit. I was 99, I was at the funeral pouring beers for all the senior guys. And hearing all them freaking women crying, hearing those wives crying, hearing the kids crying. Gosh dang, and that was just freaking training. That was just the heavy stuff on a daily. You know, it's just a different, it was just a different framework and structure. I didn't used to hate anybody. I didn't used to want to kill anybody. After fighting in the Middle East for so long, I'm always scared and on edge whenever I hear Arabic, or if I see hijab, or there's some kind of indicator of the Muslim religion. It freaks me out. It scares me. The first time you are over there, I was on a recon and counter sniper patrol in Pakistan. Nobody knows that we were doing this shit. This is back in 01 when towers first fell. We were rocking and rolling in Pakistan first, and it was crazy times, Joel. And when that sun came up and you're hearing Allah, Allah Akbar, I was so tired. I've been patrolling in this super heat, probably 200 pounds on my back. And we would go back to back to rest, and when I leaned back, I put my scarf around my face, I thought, but I missed one little part right around my cheek. And in 30 minutes, about 70 freaking million flies bit me in this one little fucking cheek right here. And then I'm hearing the donkey going hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw from the freaking Allah Akbar. Next thing you know, we're standing. Next thing you know, we're running. Now we're taking contact. Now we're shooting. Now we're fighting. And we're in a freaking sewer. It was pandemonium in the ring, y'all. And this is just one day and many days of fighting. Yeah, it affects you for the rest of your life. I'll never be the same, but I don't know if I ever want to go back either. I like holding on to my hatred and rage and pain. I like holding on to the absolute rage. I like to think about my best friends who have been killed, and how I can spend the rest of my life hurting and killing anyone who ever thought about hurting them. Because their lives meant so much to me. So that's why I have no problem killing anybody like that.
So you don't necessarily, go, I guess, rewinding a little bit, Rudy, and I understand the virtue behind why capitalize off of, the sacrifices that you and a lot of these guys that are your brothers and family have made. Do you think there's merit in glorifying it?
I don't know.
But it's not, you guys aren't the type of guys that need the glory. You're in there just out of the principle, right?
Well, I think certain guys, saw the opportunity to cash in. Like I was thinking about those guys going and take Bin Laden down and, written the book.
Feel good about that.
And those guys made a ton of money on it. And, and at the end of the day, like, if they can go out and capitalize on something they did, but I think in a lot of ways, I don't know. I kind of, like we said, we failed the margin experience. So for me, it's playing professional sports. I always never liked the people that went and wrote the tell-all books, like the Jose Canseco on his last dollar. So he's got to fucking out all these people or this, and go tell all these things.
Is that because of him being on the last dollar? Like, let's say it was a nonprofit, all donated. I don't know. I'm hypothetical, right?
I just always think that, like, at the end of the day, did you do it to write a book? And I remember my buddy Bob Sapp, professional fighter.
Bob Sapp!
Right? So
I got that pride!
So Bob is
Ernesto Hurst.
Dude,
remember Ernesto Hurst and Bob Sapp?
Bob's one of my best friends.
No way!
Yeah.
Gosh dang, y'all. If you don't know Pride Fighting Championship, fucking bro, are you serious? What a sweetheart he is.
He was at my wedding. He was one of the best men at my wedding. And
Bob Sapp, I love him.
Yeah, no, I remember the hilarious thing. My mom got hammered at our wedding, and she got up and tried to give us a toast, which went really badly. And I just remember Bob, my mom's name's Doris. He's like, "Sit down, Dolores."
Oh, love it.
400-pound black man screaming
Absolutely.
in a room about this size, mind you. But I remember Bob always talked to me, and he's like, he always said, don't be one of those motherfuckers that writes a book. and he
sell out.
Yeah, don't sell out.
sell
Don't right.
out.
And what he meant was like do your craft, and there's a time. And he played pro football, and then he went in. And I remember when he got into the Pride thing, and and all the fighting and that, he was like, I'm in a place to write a fucking book, and he did. He was Asian Time Magazine Man of the Year multiple times, New York Times, or whatever it says.
Don't forget his Michael Jackson photo shoot with his white suit and black. That motherfrapper hammed it up.
No, Bob,
he's a superstar in Japan.
Dude,
dog.
we were in. He had a big fight in Vegas. My brother Eddie and I went, and I remember we went over to the pre-fight with him, we walked into the hotel, and all of a sudden we walked in, and there just happened to be about 300 Japanese tourists at
all
the same
over
time.
him like a cheap suit.
And he like walks in and like stops, and he's like, I'm like, what? He's like, don't make him don't move. And we're like, I thought someone was going to kill us. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, like, these fucking Asian people like happened to glance, and they were like, and all of a sudden Bob breaks into character, and he also spoke Japanese fluently.
God, what a stud.
He told me that he didn't speak Japanese, went to bed that night, had a dream in Japanese, and woke up and he was fluent in Japanese the next day.
I could believe that with that man, though.
Well, no, and if you know Bob, you know this is fucking true. And I don't know if my brother Eddie listens to the podcast, but he'll fucking text me here and be like, dude. But long story short, all of a sudden he breaks in, he starts fucking going into his whole beast thing. He stood there and took pictures and talked to these 300 people for damn near 4 hours.
Of course, that's his job as a professional entertainer, and I understand that.
Yeah, and he, I mean, it wasn't like I'm too good, nothing. We went and we ate.
That's his work,
Dude,
and that's his pride.
But I remember, man, like there's a time and a place for everything. I just think, I'll never fault anybody for making money, but I think at the end of the day,
I guess let me rephrase the question. Is there a classy way to do it?
I don't know. Is there? I mean, like to be honest, I mean, like,
I'm ethically against it.
Yeah. But I mean, you went in and did the Generation Kill, and
no, I didn't do the Generation Kill. Those motherfuckers were lucky enough to embed with me and my people and hide in the bottom of the motherfucking Humvee for the whole fucking war and fucking call me and my fucking friends for fucking 2 months after that to piece together the fucking story. So no, I didn't do the Generation Kill. They were lucky. That piece of shit was lucky to be with me and my people.
Yeah, to get participation, right?
But I mean, he didn't even pay attention because that fucking punk ass, just a fucking bum ass, weak body, a bum weak body, hid.
And this is the Rolling Stone dude.
Yeah. Called me all the time after that in my little humble telephone in Oceanside. Asking me this detail and that detail.
And he was there, and he didn't see a single
Hell
fucking...
no.
Because he was fucking...
Head in the fucking sand. Head in the sand.
Bum. I had no idea about any of this stuff, guys. Back then. I went after that to fight in fucking Fallujah and Ramadi. So Generation Kill is like fucking easy day compared to fucking Fallujah. and Ramadi.
You were saying. Sure.
Right, fucking cutting off heads and shit like that, and fucking burning bodies on the freaking bridge, and then freaking killing children and shit because if they're digging in the side of the road. I mean, just fuck, you guys have no fucking concept of real fucking hell on earth. It won Generation Kill.
Yeah.
Not even close. That was like kind of like a little fucking warm up for Fallujah.
How come they've never come? I mean, I guess they did make a movie with the Chris Kyle dude from Fallujah, but they've never really ever gone in and tried to do anything from that, have they?
I was on that op when in Baghdad with the SEAL snipers too, and I don't know, man. I got to be straight with y'all. I think these war movies, most of them are completely disingenuous and completely.
Do you watch them, Rudy?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I don't. A lot of them I don't watch because I can't handle the sounds of the gunfire and the explosions and stuff. It makes me seasick because I'm hearing stimulus and my brain knows I'm not there, and I start getting seasick, and I feel it's veteran porn. It's veteran porn. It's disrespectful to the sacrifices, what do we call it when something is so very special? Sacredness to these experiences where men give each other's lives for each other and for other people. And and I find it's ridiculous. Actually, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And fucking war film, fucking 2-3 fucking hours, and you can't even smell burning bodies. What the fuck you gonna tell me about a goddamn war film and you can't smell no burning bodies, and you ain't got no freaking cordite freaking a carbon in your freaking hand and in your eye, and or your freaking best friend ain't dead.
Right.
You gonna tell me about some fucking war movie? You gotta be shitting me. It breaks my heart. It makes me so sad. And I realize I work in film, I work in television, and I write things too. There is such a sadness to me that all of this freaking blood and destruction and hatred and tears and longing and all the letters I wrote to my wife on my MRE cardboard and all of these things, that it can be summed up in 2 or 3 hours for a stupid fucking movie for some motherfuckers that have no idea. Nor do they really care. They just want to see some badass dudes with guns and shit. Not interested in it at all. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's adolescent. I think it is hurtful to the women and the children who grow up without these men. It hurts me. Some of my friends are mentally ill. They're not in my life anymore. I was put away for a whole year myself for mental illness. How do you make something freaking kick ass about destruction, sacrifice, and the agony and the ecstasy and the beauty of killing other men, the beauty of it, so when you're killing them, they're not killing you.
Well, I think because we're the recipients, the civilian population's the recipients of the fruits of your labor and suffering, and I guess there's a glory behind it, perceived glory, right? And people dig it, man. I mean, I certainly appreciate. I don't understand where you're coming from, Rudy, because I'm not fucking there. I believe you. I'm not saying you're lying. It's a fascinating thing that there's just such a separation on.
Well, dude, it's we've turned ourselves into such a voyeur community, where people live these whole existences. Like I was sitting with my kids this morning, trying to force my daughters to have breakfast because they're like butterflies. They land, they'll eat a little bit, and then they go play, and they come back and forth. So usually breakfast is like a 30-minute thing. And we were listening to the radio, and the talk show or like whatever the shows are, radio shows in Austin are the fucking worst.
Oh yeah.
This place has the worst radio on the planet. So as I'm listening to this deal, the lady was talking about that she hadn't gone out and met anybody in so long, that all of her relationships and everything that she'd run into were all this kind of virtual based internet deal and Skyping dates and this whole thing. And I thought, God, what a fucking strange existence that people don't go out and meet each other and interact and it just like listening to this, I'm like, God, this isn't what I want for my kids. Just a kind of a sterile existence.
On that point, I have always been engaged with people. I grew up in a boys' home.
Well, dude, how crazy is this? When we said, hey, let's do a podcast, you're like, great, where should I go? And I'm like, I think Rudy is actually coming to us.
I came to you, bro.
I know. I can't fucking believe it either.
Well, it's the right thing to do, man. Yeah. I show up for freaking people because you all are people are the fucking most beautiful things in the universe, because they have such potential for surprise, and always there is some kind of gossamer wing between what you think is possible and that step through that becomes possible. So. People to me are the ultimate heroes. I struggle sometimes in the entertainment world that I work in and some of these other things is because there's a pervasive pleasure machine button that you can push when you watch violence, when you watch sex, violence, winning. It's a little pleasure machine button you push. I can't imagine anything that makes us less human than that. And when I'm reading about what our bros and the women go through from time eternal, I do not feel exploited. When I see some things on this gosh dang TV or movies or what have you like that, almost always it feels absolutely shallow and flat. And why aren't our people in media that make such a grandiose show of heroism and make incredible money on war film and violence and gun fighting and shoot 'em ups and all this? How come they in any way think that ethically they're correct, or that they're promoting destroying other people? And regardless, and somebody says, you know what, I'm not going to tell you her name, but she says to me, well, Rudy, it's just entertainment, it's not real. I said, sweetie, it's real to me. It's real to me when you see people chopped up in pieces. It's real to me when you see people shot in the face and the head. It's real to me when I see someone beating to death another person. It's real to me. Well, we don't mean it that way. So,
was that somebody who's involved in the creation of the entertainment?
Yeah.
Producer or whatever?
Producer.
Yeah.
I loved her. I still love her so much, and one of the most brilliant people in the world, and so skilled and beautiful, sexy, in a man's world, and freaking Hollywood or wherever the hell. Actually, no, let me take that back. It's not a man's world. I was in LA for a week. There ain't a single fucking man in the whole fucking place. No, I got to be straight with you. I'm not being a jerk.
Well,
I'm telling you, they're just no
define man.
They can't fight and smash others in the face if they.
Well, if the only definition of man is they stand when they pee, then I'm sure a lot of them sit. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird place.
Ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Men should never care about their fashion. Men should care about their style.
What's the difference?
There's a big difference. Fashion comes and goes.
Well, we lack both.
Oh, it's all right, but that's all right.
I got this beard. What's that?
That's right. That gives you swagger and the style. So,
now, if we could shave it, like if you could let Rudy style the beard, I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe like go Amish to shave the centers.
No, what I'd look at it right now is, actually don't look great, but I might trim it down just a tad on the sides.
Yeah.
And then undercut it. And then freaking really bring out this Leonidas to the front here.
That sounds about right.
You feel what I'm
Like
saying?
a duckbill.
Yeah.
Like a
You feel
duckbill.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But then
duckbill.
Yes. And then I'd make sure that I get that freaking mustache cut really good here so you still get that good lip.
Are you going to shave the beard for the wedding?
I don't know, man.
When you get married, dog?
I don't know.
Luke just proposed to his girl last weekend, this last couple days.
Oh, wonderful.
After dating for over 10 years, he finally
that's so
decided to make the commitment.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Fantastic.
She wore me down.
Oh no, you love it, brother.
Of course.
That's so
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
You know, I love my Hollywood girl too. But you know what? She's from New York and she's an immigrant from Croatia.
Oh.
And you guys would love the mother frapping hell out of her. I invite her to Summer Strong every time. Hopefully she'll come next time.
Well, what about the Power Athlete Symposium?
Oh, absolutely. All she wants to do is improve herself always because she's, Eastern Bloc.
Well, the Power Athlete Symposium in December. In
Oh, I'm
Austin,
coming,
Texas.
dog. I'm coming, dog.
know.
Well,
And
we'll see.
So
We'll
this is just
we'll
a sneak
see.
preview, Rudy. This is the setup. This is the plan for we're just going to sit you and John down and see where it takes us.
Oh, fantastic!
You know,
we haven't even scratched the surface.
I know.
We haven't even done nothing yet.
It's going to get weird.
It's a wild scene. It's a wild scene. All you kids out there, and also you adults, I guess, or whatever. You know what? No, all you people who want more out of your life and are missing something because it hurts really bad some days to get up, and you're scared because sometimes it feels that this society doesn't really have any love left for us. Focus on your physical fitness and focus on your athletics. You'll find that by doing athletics and physical fitness, you'll be drawing other people like that to you, and also changing the chemistry in your brain and in your body. And the self-esteem that comes along from taking a positive role in changing your life, I can't tell you how special it is. So all of you all out there, you know, all you people that ask me every day about all my little diets and training tips and stuff like that. I have no diets, by the way. I don't do any of that ridiculousness. All I do is train really hard for fun and make sure to understand that my body and my brain was meant to hunt and range. And if I'm sitting around a whole lot or not moving a lot, I'm not being true to my biggest potential. So just do a little bit more of that.
Wise words.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else?
I mean, how long are we talking? 20 minutes?
Yeah, 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Wow.
Well, I mean, we hit the book. I definitely recommend it. To kind of look
thank you.
into.
Oh, I have something to say, dog.
Yes.
Do it.
Finally, bring it.
Force Blue.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, dang.
So for those of you guys listening that do not know what Force Blue is, Rudy has a deal where they have taken kind of it's a symbiotic relationship. You're taking ex-military guys and basically putting
Combat divers,
combat
commandos.
divers to go in and rehab reefs.
Yeah, rebuild coral reefs.
Oh, no shit.
Growing and rebuilding coral reefs, and we did it already for the first time freaking 3 weeks ago in the Cayman Islands. We've proved the concept, and we have a gorgeous documentary, forceblueteam.org. You will be freaking blown away. And we did it ourselves. I raised the money myself. I brought the teams together. SEAL brother, Jeff Reeves. I got a freaking Green Beret. I got a British Royal Marine Commando. I've got Roger Sparks, highest decorated pararescue man of all time. I've got Will Hinkson, legendary freaking Recon Marine. I've got Nate from Team 5. A medic program. He was an Army medic. Medic program from... what is the gentleman that Peter Berg has been behind? I put all these commandos together, and we teamed up with the scientists. Most importantly, this is not recreational diving. This is not diving therapy. This is freaking changing the world therapy. It is being the baddest freaking warriors for the ocean therapy. So we rebuilt reefs through water columns and then replanted them. Lionfish culling, hydrographic surveys, you freaking name it. We did a school. We created a school.
So you grow the reefs outside of the ocean.
No, you can't
No,
grow
in the
reefs.
ocean, and then replant in areas in which the currents and the nutrients are prime. Imagine upside down Christmas trees,
What they're doing
20 to 30 feet down.
They're creating like scaffolding, like imagine
Yes,
scaffolding under
yes.
the water, and then they go and they replant the scaffolding. I watched the whole thing on it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yes,
All right.
we grow the reef.
Surprisingly, Rudy is one of the only, and I can't say this because I've done it on other guests, but I've done more research on Rudy Reyes than just about any other guest we've had, because
brother.
one, we've had over a year of Rudy
Waiting,
Reyes.
wishing, dreaming.
Well,
Instagram.
We have a pretty good stalking of your Instagram, because I mean,
Pretty good.
well, you got to think, for the last year we've been trying to get you on the podcast.
I have too. We tried, brother. Was
I
it
know.
me and you, or was it
No,
Luke and
No,
I?
no,
no.
Who was
it was you and I, Rudy, twice.
You tried to call in from a glacier in Iceland. I mean, we get it.
And then a flight to New York. You tried to call from the plane.
See,
and,
I try, y'all. I I'm Mexican. I got a brother in prison. You know what I mean? I'm trying.
I mean, the crazy part is all we could see was just like the plane and a scarf, and we were like,
I
"Is that
love
Rudy?"
that.
It's
Yes.
like he's like, you see, he's the only guy I know that wears a tank top and a scarf.
Yes, because that scarf can double as
I know.
a
Well,
freaking,
you told me.
as a cravat, as a freaking sling.
I just
It could be
figured
a
your neck
sarong.
got cold.
So the
Check
the
this
scarf
out
does
on the
both?
plane, y'all. On the plane, when the air's coming on at you pretty heavy, and you're in your tank top because you can come into Texas, you take that shemagh and it's your little blanket.
Oh,
Yes,
it's like a
y'all.
shawl.
It's all yes, sir. I mean, it's freaking piece
Now
of gear.
is that fashion or is that style?
It's all of it.
Oh,
no,
wait,
no. It is.
did-
it is fashion style.
Both.
Did
depending
we
on how you
function?
rock it.
It's both.
it's both.
Did we make a distinction between fashion and style yet?
Fashions come and go depending on trends, and
Style is just
style comes from within.
Ooh, swagger.
Yes, look at Steve McQueen. Look at Charles Bronson.
Yeah, no,
I'm a
they're-
big '70s guy.
Yeah.
I like my freaking boot cut jeans. I like my low cut freaking jeans with the freaking conch belt, a la freaking Led Zeppelin. I love the '70s, man.
I do too. I mean-
Serpico is my thing. When I look like Serpico, I love my Serpico look.
I love 70s cars. I love 70s
too,
music.
God. Me too,
but,
me too.
But I was born in the 70s, and I remember that stuff like as a young kid. Like I remember
too.
seeing the crazy outfits my parents wear. I look at the pictures, and I think to myself, the fact that you guys were sober wearing this is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
I- like-
very open-minded, bro.
well,
very
like,
open-minded.
I remember seeing a picture of my dad is wearing a tie that's about this wide and about this long.
Kidding.
And he's like, that was cool in the 70s.
Getting it.
You know?
Getting it. Okay, so I hang out with some friends of mine and stuff like that, and I got some pretty cool people that hang out with me sometimes. I wonder why, by the way, because I'm not that immensely smart.
When you say cool, define cool. Eclectic, different, like somebody different than you, like
Leaders-
who's cool in Rudy Reyes' playbook?
Who's cool in my book would be, of course, Ian Astbury, my fucking lead singer of the Cult, my brother. I mean, I just love the man, and
How come he doesn't have that long hair anymore?
he grows it on and off. It's getting long again.
I remember when I saw that.
Oh, do you remember in the day?
Dude, his hair was seriously
Sure, was that
down to his.
was that the Sonic Temple days?
yeah.
Sonic Temple.
Firewoman. The
Yes,
whole deal.
that's so absolutely.
Dude, we saw him. I saw him in concert, and his hair was fucking down to
for
his
sure.
fucking ass. It was
Well,
unreal.
because he
And
has such a connection with Native American spirituality and culture.
total sense.
And I've gotten to be close with Ian, and I consider him, an older brother that I never had, and he's counseled me very much in work and biz. And he says, Rudy, I do this music now for my job. This is my job, but I have dreams of other things and things that are more in line with my spirit. And
Does the Cult still tour?
all the time, and they're just crushing. They're just
Dude.
more beautiful than ever. Let's go again. I'll take you.
Done. Done.
Okay.
Done.
2 years
I will
ago, I
fucking
brought
love to see
Wes.
the
Okay,
Cult.
when he comes
Field
back
trip.
to Austin,
Okay.
we're gonna go.
Yeah, no, we will go see
You
him.
will love Ian and Billy Duffy and their crew. They're just so magnificent. Fudge, when I was a little kid, man, when I was a teenager in the boys' home, like looking at like the album and seeing like these what Egyptian hieroglyphs. How do you say it? Hieroglyphs?
Yeah, hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics and these arcane runes and such. And I'm like, what does this mean, love? What does this mean, love? And so all of this, right? Profound stuff to me. And so I would see the Cult over the years and always wait and sign autographs. And then when I was put forward as some kind of warfighter, or what would you call me? Some kind of something.
I don't know if we can necessarily come up with a label,
we
but I'll
we
work
tried, but we can't figure it out.
Yeah, we've been trying to put your finger. I mean, like
the samurai David Bowie or something.
There you are.
Right? Or
ooh, that's pretty
right?
good.
I don't know. I mean, that's pretty hard. Those are big fucking shoes to fill.
I mean,
Samurai
I
David
agree.
Bowie.
I agree.
David Bowie might have been the coolest motherfucker to ever walk the planet.
I'm with you on that.
Dude. Ziggy Stardust, the whole Spiders from Mars. Oh my God.
By the way, I'm psychic. For real.
Do you remember in Zoolander when they go to do the walk off and David Bowie's like, if nobody's going to take charge, and everybody's like, that was actually the best cameo of any movie.
So hang on, Rudy, you're claiming you're psychic for like literally real psychic.
Do you really doubt him?
I don't. Yeah.
I mean,
for the sake of why not?
You met Dr. Bueller.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that there's no such thing as psychic.
There's like a clairvoyant. So I believe in, so I didn't believe it until I met Bueller.
I dream very deep stuff. I dream all the time and dream
like deja vu?
No, just dream deeply and travel. And then after doing years of meditation, I learned to explore my dreams and become an oneironaut, a dream astronaut. And keep pushing and opening doors and looking and then recording. The day that David Bowie died, the night prior, hours before he died, only maybe even 1 hour, maybe even 10 minutes, I was eating chow with him, and I met him once in London, but I was eating chow with him in his castle on the seashore. And he had this massive robe, kind of like Labyrinth, except his hair was short, long table. And I remember eating like this roast beef and some potatoes, and we're kicking it and talking, and he stands up and he walks away. And I have a strange feeling he's going away, so I stand up, I'm like, where are you going, brother? Where are you going, Dave? And he's going around the corner, so I step around the corner and I look for him, and I see just this coat fluttering out, and then the other way, and I'm always right behind him, and I'm looking for him. Where are you going? Come back. And then at towards the very end, I come back and I'm at the foyer of the mansion, where the dinner table's only a little bit of ways, but the foyer of the mansion. And I get back to the foyer and the front door's open. As the front door's open, I see this coat and his cape flowing out, and I run out there. I'm like, where are you going? Come back. And the light was blinding, and the sea was crashing on the rocks underneath me, and then he was gone, and I just remember having this deep sadness and foreboding, and this is what will blow your fucking minds. Or no, it doesn't. Probably not. You guys already understand this. I wake up. Matt Salamo, Recon brother of mine, he's given me a bear pelt pillow that I slept with for a few hours, right? And the first thing I say to Matt, and you guys look him up, you guys go reach out to Matt Salamo. Matty, I had this dream. David's gone. David Bowie's gone. He ran away. He's gone. But I'm not sure where he went. I swear to you, 30 seconds later after that, on the news, David Bowie is dead.
Have you had any other dreams like that?
Oh, many.
Yeah?
Always. I see the future all the time.
But David Bowie is the most recent one?
Okay, you know how they say that you don't see your feet in dreams? Have you ever heard that?
No, but I mean, I can't think of ever seeing my feet in a dream.
I mean, I've had the dreams where you're fucking running and you can't go faster, and I've seen my feet looking down, wondering why the fuck are my feet going so slow.
When I was little, I used to have pretty bad nightmares. And the interesting thing was, I remember at one point I'd gotten I would wake up and have like a different nightmare, and it was always kind of similar. It actually, it kind of like the only way I can equate it is, do you remember that weird thing in Big Trouble Little China that like pulls the guy in, that like weird little monster looking thing that's like with the red eyes?
Yes.
Kind of like imagine something like Imperial Japan, and that was like my fucking nightmare. And I remember at some point in that dream when I was pretty young, I remember all of a sudden realizing that it was a dream, and I remember waking up, and then I remember I had the dream, and it was always the same nightmare. I remember at one
recurring.
point, and I remember had it enough to where I could actually, I remember being like, this is a dream. And I remember stopping it and waking myself up. And then ever since then, anytime I've ever had a bad dream, I can pretty much just end it and be like, no, we're not doing this anymore, and like end it. And I remember my daughter had a nightmare, and I told her about it. I was like, you can control your dreams if you think about it.
Yep,
and and it's like, how do you? But so long story short, like I think you can do some things like that, but.
Yeah,
Takes incredible wherewithal.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Controlling your dreams is called lucid dreaming.
Sure.
I've had a couple experiences, and then I'm flying. I choose to fly, choose to control. It's pretty cool. But yeah, similar experience, but no freaking telling people's deaths or anything weird like that.
All the time.
Have you ever had any out-of-body experience?
All the time. All the time. That third-party observer is what I search for in my training.
Yeah. Yeah, that ability to kind of be, what is the word?
Omniscient.
Omnipotent, where
Yes,
you kind of like can like stand up
sure.
and like kind of observe that whole thing.
The third-party observer.
Yeah.
And to flow state, that's what I search for. My kung fu teacher, Chiman, said, fucking genius. Gosh, damn, this guy's so... You know what? Looking back, I realize how fortunate I am. No wonder. I mean, fuck, it's such a trip. I'm 45 years old, y'all. I ain't never met nobody close to my age that's even fucking a third of my ability.
Yeah.
For real. And never shortcuts. No, I don't even take supplements, all these stupid fucking bullshit supplements. You gotta be shitting me. Some fucking vitamins and shit. I'm like, you fools. The human being is designed to push, hunt, eat, sleep, freaking have some sex with your girl, fucking play with your kids. And you know, you might brush your teeth now and again. I mean, that's what we are to do. And there's all these fucking gimmicks of this bullshit's ridiculously funny. There's no fucking diet. There's no freaking gimmicks. There's no freaking piece of equipment. There's no freaking supplement. No. You know what you do? You be a hunter of saber-toothed tigers. Oh, there's no saber-toothed tigers around. Well, okay, think about what they did to hunt saber-toothed tigers. If you do that, you'll be just fine. And play with your kids and freaking have some good sex with your woman and don't get in too many fights with her. Everything is going to be fantastic. When you're falling into sleep and you start drifting into these caverns of subconscious and ancient lives. By the way, I have some dreams of ancient lives of mine that I revisit, and I still continue an ancient life. And what's so kick-ass, brothers, is that I recognize as I'm dreaming and going through this vision that is my real life. And I've been doing that life way longer than I've been alive here. Way longer. 1,000 years longer. Sometimes years later, I'll have a dream and I revisit that timeline. And I remember, yes, that's that existence. Sometimes I wake up, holy smokes. I don't know if the freaking audience is ready for it, but a couple days ago I dreamed I was making love to my girl. And I haven't seen her in a long, long time. I was sitting up on the couch and we were kissing and all this. And I was so connected to my special person. But I was not. I was actually asleep on the couch. But then my girl woke me up. And I was didn't know what was going on. And it's just immense to imagine the phonograph of what we call life or reality, and then the quantum, three-dimensional, fourth-dimensional, freaking time and space style, true existence. That's why I dream the future. That's why I'm a great fighter. Mm-hmm. I got to tell you, I have always had a talent. And it's not because I'm not the fastest, I'm not the biggest, I'm not the strongest. Just something, and my My kung fu teacher always just said it. He says, Ludi, no one know my name, but they say, you Ludi's teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He says, it's karma. That's the way you made. Right? Another trap.
So do you think there's another Rudy Reyes on this planet?
I don't even know Rudy Reyes yet.
Is that part of your journey? Part of your mission?
Yes, I'm not a big fan of Rudy Reyes. I'm interested in finding out who Rudy is, though. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I mean, I believe you.
Do you feel where I'm coming from?
I just haven't thought like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a deep introspective approach to life, you know, that just walking around, people assume they are who they are, right? And you're a fucking guy who's like, I'll tell you when I get there.
Yeah, right, man. I've been in charge for so long. I've been taking care of my brothers and leading.
No, man, it's the tortured souls. I mean, if you think about like the more, I mean, and this is kind of intelligence too. I mean, they've done pretty extensive research that the higher the IQ, the less happy people are. You know, like they've charted people that were 165, 170, 180 IQ, and they always end up, you know, usually committing suicide or living miserable lives. And you think about like, you know, your ability to just kind of wade through it, and like, you know, there's a reason. I mean, if you look at my Instagram, like the one quote I have is like, "Be a simple man." Like that was
kind of man.
Dude, that's like my theme song because.
But you're not, brother.
I try to be like everything. You try to be. Well, you try to be simple, and like, you know, the problem is that when you create so much complexity, it becomes distracting. Like have a simple, clear mission, and you know, like just be good at whatever you want to do, and you know, like it shouldn't be this complicated. And that's something that when I talk to my kids, I tell them, I'm like, it's not that complicated. Like we can solve a lot of these problems if we just look at everything very kind of simplistic. And man, I don't know. I always go back to like the Forrest Gump thing. He wasn't a real smart man, but dude, that guy lived a pretty good life because you know why? He didn't really say no, and he just kind of went and did it.
He showed up.
And he showed up.
He showed up.
Yeah, he did. Hey, let's go here. You know.
I feel the same way. It's so wild, John. It's so wild, brothers. I've never been into business and money before.
I can't imagine you needing money.
I'm still not into it at all.
No, I really can't even imagine. I was trying to imagine you going in somewhere and like being like, hey, I got this paper stuff. I just need some of that food.
That's so true.
We'll trade for
normally
this.
I just give it away all the time. And sometimes I let people abuse me and take advantage, only because I have even more compassion for them than the pain I feel from them abusing me. I feel for them more. And
do you think that you're put on this earth? I mean,
I think so.
You kind of there's a weird kind of vein of victim, not a victim, defensive victim. Like I can see you, you know, like shit, man. You run through a brick wall, but yet I think it's interesting the fact that you would even use the term as you would allow people to victimize you.
I think.
And then I also wonder who the fuck is going to victimize Rudy Reyes. And then on top of it, if I was in a position where I saw somebody victimizing Rudy Reyes, what would we do? We would fucking curb stomp them.
Yes.
I don't think they would need our help. I mean, no, Rudy would need our help.
I think everybody needs help, but I could see like you guys know, like if there was a problem
in the
that
proverbial
you guys
sense,
had, if there was a problem,
no questions asked, you guys would be there by my side.
100%. If you called me up and said, "Hey, John, I got this issue," I'd be like, "Fucking curb stomps. Let's get them."
Of course. It's interesting that you say that, and express that. I think it's because of just the immense amount of trauma that I've been through since a little boy. And the hurt, the betrayal, left in the boys' home. And one time I tried to run away, and my home for boys, and I escaped. I was in my window, two stories down, but all I had was my Chuck Taylors, and I couldn't get to my drawer for my socks, and it was snowing outside, and I almost froze to death, and I just walked the streets because I didn't know how to get home to Kansas City. And as the sun started coming back up, I climbed up that gutter 3 stories up and got back in my bed, and I was frozen up, hurting really bad, and I went to school. I guess maybe I just never want to let go of those injuries, the hatred, the pain, the destruction, the betrayal. I don't want to let anyone ever forget that people hurt deeply, regardless of how good they make it look on the outside.
And the irony of that is now you're working in Hollywood. That literally the whole subsides upon the fucking blood of the innocent and like feeding upon and the manipulation. I mean, probably one of the most I mean, I can see you more like living here in Texas as a farmer and raising animals and like living like that life more so than I can see you in the Hollywood thing. So it's such a strange dichotomy for me.
Dichotomy, huh, brother?
Well, yeah, I mean, like you think about like here's a situation where you're trying to go in and do something that you feel is valuable, but yet you're working in a line of business that's almost parasite. I mean, it is parasites.
Oh, it is
parasiting off of people, emotion, sex. I mean, like you said, man, like I can't imagine the fuck, dude. Like, it's just,
brother, it's a trip.
I mean, dude, I
I grew up there. As a pro athlete too.
No, dude, believe me, it's believe me, dude, it's a strange deal, and there's
and
a
you
reason.
Understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, that's why, dude. That's why I talk about, dude. I remember hearing. I've told these guys a story that I was in Daytona Bike Week, and we went up and took a little ride up deal, and I got to hear Leonard Skinner play in a little warm up at a little place called Peggy's Place, and I remember sitting there with a bunch of drunk bikers, and they played Simple Man, and I remember I had this like strange out of body experience where I, you'd heard the song, but I'd really listened to the lyrics and I go out there and I was like, you know what, man, fucking simplicity is happiness, and keep it basic, keep it simple, and fucking don't add too much shit, and you'll be all right. So
carve away, strip away.
Jeet Kune Do.
Yes.
Discard what's useless.
Essence. Get to essence. I feel that's what I've been doing because of necessity, trying to be so much for so many people and try to be excellent, so many things, and to never let anyone down, and to always show up and to always be the best and best I can, and to always be brave, to always have courage, and it takes so much commitment, and yet I will never ever I will never quantify it. I'll never quantify it. I'm ethically against quantifying fuck a soul, and you know what? I'm not going to call out any names out there. There's a lot of people in this so-called veteran community, and especially the spec ops community. I don't know what happened to these people. I don't know how they can look in the mirror, think about making some kind of brand and selling some kind of freaking apparel or or whatever they want to do that is associated with themselves, to somehow put on a platform in which it can make money. God dang, that's just so fucking foul. Like if you... Sadly, you know what? We all got to make work, by the way. All you all out there, and you know who I'm talking about. All of us, though. But some of us with prose, intelligence, skill, and absolutely rage can do it. That's respectful to all the people that we represent, and not exploit the fucking agony and the ecstasy that we've been through. And I'll be gosh dang if I gotta see one more mother frapping skull t-shirt to show that like I'm fucking down with my fucking veterans and I'm such a badass. You all just need to really think about something different, because
so Rudy, what's a tasteful way then? So how do if this is all...
I'll tell you how.
Okay.
Brother, tasteful way to represent your veteran community and do something in your community is not sell a freaking t-shirt. How about start a freaking t-shirt drive? How about getting clothes from people who want to donate to people who need clothes? Mm-hmm. How about getting freaking down and dirty with your community and helping them with their garden or making a freaking, some kind of plot of land? How about teaching the women and children, and men too, basic self-defense and emergency planning and first aid? How about creating a first aid program for all teachers and all people that are in some kind of education, billet, or public works? How about, there's so many other ways. Mm-hmm. And it's very interesting to me, and I'm fired up right now a little bit. Some of these cats that have these so-called businesses, I've never heard a single one of their teammates say a damn thing about them. Not a freaking one. Not about one single op. Not about one single thing.
I see.
And all I have on my street in the recon and sniper community is my brothers who've been by my side while I ran the ops and what I did out there. And I'd like to hear about some of these other cats. Actually, no, I don't, because there's nothing. There's nothing. Mm-hmm. These guys, these other... It's not about freaking badass as fuck and fucking guns and this and freaking cool freaking... multi-cam ball cap beard and shit. No, come on. When you become a ape of yourself or some kind of, what do you call it? I mean, come on. What is that about?
Well, what they're doing is, people sometimes play the, like play the part that they're.
Why? Like you said earlier with the victim, for me.
Yeah. But I mean, I think a lot of times with a lot of the things like you're talking about, I mean, that's kind of what the I guess you could say, like the people that have never served. I mean, civilians like us. I mean, I think that's what people want to feel like they're part of something, and so they see it, and it's kind of this tactical, edgy thing, and you kind of want to belong to something. And I'm here, and if only. And,
but didn't we do that with sports? Since we were kids, didn't we do that with sports?
Well, I bet you a lot of those guys didn't play sports.
I say,
gosh
dang it, John. Imagine this, brother. Imagine when I was a little boy, if I had a fucking Rudy Reyes and I had fucking all these warriors hanging around and I had a fucking internet and all these motherfucking avenues to see fucking real warrior heroes. Imagine if I had that. What I did have is my comic books, and that's where I got them. And here we are now in this strange culture.
Do you think Rudy Reyes would be Rudy Reyes with the internet in a modern culture like this?
Yeah, I sure would hope so.
Yeah.
I sure would hope so. And so that's why I write. I'm working on some books for teenagers now. They need the guidance. My Force Blue, forceblueteam.org. Rebuilding reefs, rebuilding commando souls, rebuilding my soul. Aligned with men like yourself and Bert Soren and super studs like Gunner and Jen Wetterstrom, and a lineage through Shaolin Temple, tendon stretching, speed.
Isn't it pretty interesting that Summer Strong is like this strange thread of people? And I was thinking, like I was talking with Tex.
Remember I met you guys 2 fucking years ago.
The Avengers.
Well, I remember Tex was there 2 years ago, and was like, I met so many people like this. Like this is pretty much we stalked our podcast for almost an entire year, Tex, based off of 2 years ago.
Correct.
And like when he came back and told me, I was like, dude, we have to go for the 10th anniversary.
Yes.
We're just missing the breeze.
I'll bring him. Or we'll find him.
Oh God,
he's the legend.
In his own right.
Isn't this when he should just Up here?
Well, the Breeze and the American Beauty over here got
That's
something
it.
weird going.
Right? He just calls me Beauty for short.
The problem is oh man, I mean, Breeze fucking took me down, dude.
What do you mean?
Well, no, I was trying to work on my presentation, and I realized after hearing some people speak that I needed to create a PowerPoint. So I literally went in the office and I was working on the PowerPoint, and Breeze saw me and saw my stuff, and literally he pinned me down for a good 90 minutes.
Did he? Oh,
telling me Breeze stories.
Oh, of course.
And I saw Bert, and I was like, "Hey, Bert!" And Bert's like, "Oh yeah," and he waved me off. I was like, "This motherfucker!" And Bert's like, "I wasn't about to get in that. You're fucking not diving on that hand grenade."
Breeze.
Oh my god.
The Breeze. Oh God, I love him. I talked to this incredible woman in New York City. She's her brother is a veteran and active duty. She is a volleyball player and finance whiz, hard ass Italian freaking girl, and she's just my homie. And then I said, I got to take this call, and it's the Breeze. And she's, the Breeze? Well, yeah, the Breeze. Oh my God, I love him already. Yeah, dang it, right.
Don't tell the Breeze.
Yo, remember? So Breeze, what's your best pickup line? Hey, baby, my name's the Breeze. I love that man so much. So I call him daddy. I call him father and stuff because I have no dad. I just love him so much because you know what? When he hangs out and spends time with me, he always ends up freaking tearing up and stuff because, he went to West Point.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I went to West Point, and he taught and coached there for a while too, and his older brother died in Vietnam.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep. And so he cries, he'll just get a little bit emotional with me, and that's why I'm just always there for him, and I just love him so much. Mm-hmm. You all have a lot to do with that, all you all. Can you believe what I've found with you all in Summer Strong and with Bert and with Family and Strength? Can you believe that I have been invited into your world? I'm so freaking thankful, man.
Yeah, it was killer. No, it was great. It was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was so cool to connect with people, and just everybody that spoke. I was thinking about, we had Woodsky on the podcast.
Oh, I love my Woodsky. That me and him are tight too.
Dude, yeah. Well, I posted, I don't know if you saw it. I know you haven't checked your phone, but on Instagram, Luke and I were texting back and forth, and he's like, did you get Rudy yet? And I was like, no, I'm outside of LZ. I'm waiting to initiate contact.
I love it.
And so,
I love it.
So I screen captured it and put it on Instagram, and Woodsky's like, 50-50, he ditches you or something. But no, man, we've had an incredible ability to kind of add people within our genealogy, to quote Harry, and Summer Strong was huge on that. We really thank Bert and Bert's,
all of you.
Yeah, well, Bert's coming out to our Power Athlete symposium,
I'll be there.
So it'll be killer. We're excited.
I've been training a lot. I'm always training and such. Mobility, tendon work, and continuous big body movement for heart rate sustained always, and then throw in anaerobics for 8 explosive movements, and then just keep running it until a flow state happens, and now you're in a third-party observer state.
Sure.
And then with a great little coach or teammate, cues, and it just brings you right in, keeps you there, keeps you in. And it's been the best thing I have for my mental health.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a parallel between physical fitness and mental health.
Yeah, for me it is.
Yeah.
For me it is.
Well, I mean, especially because your entire life you have identified with doing something physical.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it's kind of like we get stuck in this deal because we have an internet-based company where you're stuck behind a computer, and I'm like, oh, this is awful. And part of the reason, what's ironic, at least with our company, is at my house, we have the world's worst internet. And so it takes me, what should take me 90 minutes, takes me hours because the internet.
Why are you doing this? Why can't we make some kind of towers or make you work in the...
It goes tonight, hopefully.
Tonight they are, after 6 months of fighting with Time Warner Spectrum, they are finally...
And TxDOT.
And all this. So it took them 6 months. They're putting up poles and they're running us a fiber line for the world's fastest internet. So now we are...
Careful, because you got no fucking excuses now. Everything's got to be on time, baby.
Yeah, I know. The other day, I was one of the guys. I've been helping this guy John with who's had a pretty extensive knee injury, and I was kind of just helping him on some stuff, and I couldn't send him the information, so I was texting it to him. So I like wrote this whole thing out, and I'm sending it, and it won't send.
Just picture text.
And so I literally just started writing it on my phone, and I texted it to him, and I'm like, my internet's so fucking awful, dude. This is, but we are soon going to have real internet, which at this point is going to be pretty soon. We won't be doing this podcast here anymore. We'll actually be doing it at the barn at my place.
Yeah, fucking proper room instead of. Well, I mean, the kitchen's nice. Right? We got a decent view back here.
Sturdy table.
Well, we are going to have. We're going to be able to get our real table out of storage. We're going to be able to like soundproof the room. Luke can have all this fucking soundboard. It'll be epic. Now I know Callie's going to be listening to this. Callie, this might be one of the more interesting podcasts, but the only part is that we don't have visual aid because the actual physical representation of what you're seeing.
No,
just the words alone, like I mean,
that's why Rudy's going to be great at the symposium because,
dude, first of all,
people who are going to be able to witness
he's
that
fucking jacked.
Yeah, so
I'm sitting there like
Rudy came in, and John, this is for the air as well. They got in a little wrestling match, and John turned it up to, I'd say, maybe a 7 or 8, maybe like a 7 or 8, like not 100%, but Rudy, like I thought Rudy was going to get folded like any normal man would under a 280-pound 10-year NFL lineman, but Rudy held his own. 175 pounds.
I put him on his back though, pretty quick.
Yeah, but you compared to any other 175-pound human.
You got to remember too. He started pushing me. I thought we were fucking around, and then all of a sudden, when I felt him get a little serious, that's when I stepped aside.
That's what I said. Like you went up to like a 7.
Yeah, I had to turn.
And I know it wasn't a 10, but. Compare and contrast him 100%. Versus any other 175 pounder.
He's strong fucking dude. He put his hands on me in a meaningful way, and I know the difference. Like if somebody puts their hands on me in a meaningful way like that, I was like, oh, this shit's gonna get serious. And then I almost took out Luke's fucking fireplace. But
the good thing I knew that everything can be replaced.
Of course.
So I was just like,
well, I was just glad. I was just glad when he went down, he didn't pop back up, and we didn't fucking go, because then shit would have got fucking. I was glad that we diffused it at that moment.
Else? Where else do we have to go?
Did he try to kick? I heard a lot about kicks.
No. He knows kung fu, so he knows push hands, which is like what we did. Where like as you oppose force with reactive force. Like if somebody's going to push on you, you use their force kind of deal, and that's what he did. Is he pushed in me, I just redirected it. So
what else do we have to cover with Rudy Reyes? The fucking
I'll tell you this,
by far most spiritual guest we've had. I think we did a good job containing him, people. And if you want to hear more, you're gonna have to get to the symposium. That's our next stop, baby.
Yes!
Yeah, December. No, it's gonna be good.
December when, bro?
Second weekend is
8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay. My birthday's December 3rd. Charles Bronson, December 3rd.
Nice.
And Ozzy Osbourne. Hot out.
It's good company. And Rudy Reyes.
Rudy, thanks for your time, man.
Oh, it ain't nothing. I love you guys.
All right, people. We're going to have all your links and everything in the show notes.
Sorry to get fired up a little bit, guys.
Thanks, Power Athlete
good.
Nation. Thanks, Rudy Reyes. Fucking changing the world, changing perspectives and shit.
No, it's great. Thank you, Rudy. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, see you guys.
Nothing. I love y'all.
Bye.
Now it's time for you to empower your performance. Holy shit. If you made it through that roller coaster, you have probably already started following Rudy on Instagram under his name, @RealRudyReyes. As an American, I am ashamed to say that I have not seen Generation Kill, the TV series, but on the next rainy day, I will definitely plan on snuggling up to a little TV's Rudy Reyes. Hopefully you plan on doing the same, and if you can't get enough of Rudy Reyes, be sure to go to powerathlete.com/events to get your tickets for the 2017 Power Athlete Symposium in December. Don't miss out. Tickets are going fast, and until next time, bye!